Hi, welcome back to the course Modeling of Data Service. As explained in previous videos, we will be prototyping Laurea's website, front page to be specific. And in the previous videos, we've already talked about requirement. We have stated most of the user stories that we might need. We've also defined some of the functionalities. And then we even went ahead to do wireframing as well, and then of course the sitemap here, as you can see. And aside this, we went ahead to Jira, and then we also place most of the stories there. As a quick check on that, let's see what we have. So currently we've placed about, we have about 5 to 8 stories here, and this is current sprint, which is ongoing. We have placed 5 stories here that we want to do. You can see that here we have epics, then we have whoever is working on it, username, the user who is going to work on this, and then of course the ID, Jira ID, and here you have the estimate. If you come to the board, then you actually see what kind of stories we have in the ongoing sprint. Let's come back here. So I have divided this whole project into different epics. So all the functionalities, all the stories that will be done on the front page will be assigned to the landing page. So for example, if I click here, you could immediately see that all the 5 stories that are now in the sprint are placed under this one. There might be other stories like these ones also under the degree page, which we are yet to do. And then back to the sprint again. So let's look at some of the stories we've created so far. There's a story on creating the header as a component so that it can be edited once for all the other pages. So mostly it's not every story that will be direct story that you have, but whatever you create here should be answering some of the stories you have created already. So on the front page, on the header, we want to create it in such as a master so that we can add to different pages, and when we need to edit, we edit it one place and it affects every places. So with specification, what do we need to specify for this page or for this story that we have here? We think that the header should have language, English and Finnish. The header should have a logo. It should also have a menu called Degree, International Research About Us, Search, and of course additional hamburger menu with additional information. And since we did already some wireframe, we assume that this is what the team has already accepted. In, let's say, if we have if your team is having what we call it, backlog grooming or refinement, where you are trying to specify all the stories before somebody starts to work on, then you can think of this as something that you do there to iterate or ideate with your team members. So this has been specified, and this is what I will use to work on. Here again on the footer, there is a clear, the footer should have the following content: logo, and then under that we have this study in Laurea, under that we have this services, under that we have this. So, and then we have social media links also here, and again we are placing here the example of the wireframe which we did earlier on. So this is a kind of how, okay, let's take another one. There is a story called, okay, so I want to chat with Laurea help desk so that they can assist me on how to apply for a program. So as a user, you want this. So how do we specify this? What are the things that needs to be considered? Here we are saying that the users should first engage with intelligent chat bold, and if their questions are unanswered, then direct them. Okay, here should be direct them, not, let's just correct that one. Then, oh, it should be then direct them to a rare support person. So just like any other, you just go, you start chatting, and then the intelligent chatbot or auto chatbot will start to answer your questions. But if they are still unable, then they will refer you to a support person. Users should be able to download or delete their conversation. Admin should be able to set a time frame when support personnel are available. So if somebody start to chat outside of working hours, then there should be a different thing. So if users start to chat out of working hours, then their questions are unanswered, ask them to leave their email so that support can contact them the next day. So these are some of the things you can, and then you can write it. So for the acceptance criteria, all these needs to be verified once this is done. So basically, this is a typical example of specifying your stories and saying that, okay, now this is ready for me to do. So now, as you can see, these two will be done by a different person, and these three will be done by a different person. And here, all the team members will then move the ticket themselves like that. You just drag and drop. And now, if I want to start to do this, I'll just drag and drop here. And you can also arrange this in order of priority. So, for example, after this header, I want to do the carousel, and after that, I want to then do the footer. So back to our actual RP environment. So now we know we've created our story. We know the sprint is ongoing, and by the way, the sprint will end on, as we can see, if we try to edit if we go back here, and then let's close this one. So here you can try to edit. The sprint started on 29th and it will end on 5th August. So by 5th August, we expect that this should be done. And then we are talking about sprint goal. So maybe the goal is to maybe complete the front page with all styling and interactions. So this is our goal. By the end of the 1 week, we expect to finish the front page with all the styling and interactions. Good. So now we go back again to here. Since we are going to do like a front finish and English, I've gone ahead already to create 2 folders: English pages, Finnish pages. If you click here, based on our we already had a sitemap, so that is helping us to immediately create the major pages that we might need. And in this case, it doesn't mean that's all. There will be more coming in. And let's just drag. Okay, so here as an example, I want this one to be under this one, so I just made a copy of it, so I can just place it here. And just to give you an idea, so we have home, degree, international research about us, and this is basically coming from the actual website. So we have the language, we have degrees, international research about us, and then of course we have the search, and then the hamburger menu, and then of course we have the carousel here. I will expect that this will cover the whole place. So we might do a few changes, but it's the same thing we are going to do, not a big any extraordinary thing. We are just going to prototype the same thing that you see here, so you can also have an idea how to use actual RP. So this is, you can see when you mouse over, you have this. But before we go, let's quickly take a look at a few things. If you are going to work in teams, there are things that you have. We are now going to look at the star guide part. If we do a quick inspection, let's not use, okay, so we're going to do a quick inspection. Here we can see that all the menus here, they have the font size. If you can see from the pop-up, the small pop-up, the font size is 22 pixels, and then it's using this ohms, or not sure if that's the right pronunciation, but the ohms font family. And then we have here again, all of these are 22, so that's quite clear for you to see. This is, I think, 24 or so. And then when we come here, this will be heading 1, basically is 46. Of course, if you click on it, you can also check from here. So the font size is 46. And then again, if we move forward, the buttons are using Lacto, and that is 20. We also have here another font 30, that is the session headers. So there's one session there, and this is using 40. That's a bit of inconsistency here for me, because if they are all session headers, I would expect to have them. Of course, this is not. If you look at this, then it's 30, so then it's right. And then here we have this 46 heading 1. This is using 20. This is using 24. Again, I will expect this to have the same as that one, but this is 18 as well. So we have 18 here, 18 there. So based on this, and of course here we have again 42, and then we have the same 30, 30, and so forth, and this is also 24. So based on this, we'll be able to define the headings, or the headings for the entire website. So if we go back, it means that if we want to define our own headings, we can then, for this project, even before we start, okay, now we have created our own pages. The next thing we need to do is to determine what the site might be. So here we can say that we are doing desktop large. So that will be, if we just control and then make it a little bit smaller, so that will be something like this, or maybe a bit bigger here. So this should be, actually, I should have done that before even creating the pages, but it doesn't matter. You can always select here all of them like that here, and then okay, now you see, we should make sure that we are selecting this for each one of them for all the pages. In any case, for now we're going to look at the front page or the home page, so this should be enough. And when we get to these pages, then we will look at how to deal with them. But we can quickly do that as well. So we are just making sure we are doing this one. Okay, that's enough. So we have our pages. We've defined the base width of it, and then the dimension of it. The next thing that we want to do, of course, we are going to make sure all the pages are responsive on tablet and mobile. So that will be the next thing we want to do. So from here, from the same place, we can then start to define, add adaptive views. So adaptive views means for the page to be adaptive to the different screens. So if we click on that, we'll get this small pop-up here, and this is the base. So we can add and then say that, okay, the next preset will be, let's say, this medium. The next one will be maybe this small one. This might also work with tablet as well. And then, so maybe we don't even need that one. Let's just jump over that one. Can click and delete. And that means this is going to be from here. The next one will be, let's say, tablet landscape. And then the same way we could also have tablets portraits. Okay, maybe I want to switch so that I can get the phone one. So just a second, just delete this one and switch this one to, instead of landscape, let's put it to portrait. Select this again, and let's add, and this time let's change this to landscape. Okay, and then from this we will be going to phone version, so I'll put, let's say, iPhone portrait. This should be okay enough, and then we can click OK. So we have all the screen size here, so whatever we do, we should go to these pages to rearrange the content to fit that way. So now we've been able to create all the pages, all the adaptive views that we might need. What could be the next thing? We've also talked about star guide, but let's see. So in this case, I can click here and say that I want to define the star guide. So let me just go back again quickly before we end this session and then continue in the next video. So once we are here, you will notice that the Laurea have specific fonts. If we check from here, font family, or just do this and put here. So here it's Ohms Pro. So that's the, I'm not sure what that's the right pronunciation, but that's the font that they are using, and this could be something that we need to install. So what the first thing you need to do is to make sure that you have that font installed on your PC, and at this moment I do have it. So heading 1, I can just come here and say that, okay, font family, it will be this. I think it should be here, and then we can then set this to 46. So that was the highest one we had, and then maybe here we could put it as bold or black. Next font 2 could be, there was 42, so that could be the next one. Let's see if it's already here. There, and then again we can put it as bold, and this will be 42. So you can go ahead and do this and make sure that you've defined all these, so the next time you drag and drop is easy. The next thing the other way you could do is to create that as a library. So there's a video I have on library you can check. So you can create a library and then upload. I've done that. So what I have done is I have created my own library. If I just click on add Laurea star guide, and then I can upload here. So this is me going through the entire site, looking at the colors that they have, and then using these to create something that I can easily use. So here, if I put heading 1, it's already having the if we select it, you see it's already having the all the things that I was about to define as well. If I put this, if I need a session for this, I'll just do that and drag and drop. So this, if you do this, it makes the work quite easy for the team, and your team, you can share this one with everyone, and they can always use that to work. So let's end it here. In our next video, we will then start to create the header. Now we've been able to create all the pages that we need. We've also been able to create the adaptive page views, and then I've also shown you how to create your own kind of a style guide for your project. The last thing I'll show here, if you don't like the lights and you want to, there's a view that you can use for a dark one. So if I select this one, it will switch it this way. So that is also an option for you to consider if you need that one. But for now, thanks for watching, and let's meet in the next video.